A corrupt cop gets into a mess because he's gotta save a businessman's son. Or else he's in deep trouble, but the thing is, this rich kid is totally corrupt and has committed a ton of crimes. Still, the officer tries to help him out, but in the middle of all this chaos, the cop is shocked by his old buddies, who are also police officers, trying to kill both him and the businessman's son. So, all the dirty deeds this officer did back in the day come back to haunt him. Wait, what's that? What exactly is happening? That's what we're gonna find out in today's video, so let's get into it. The movie starts with a gang of 4 people: Maya, Charlie, Wiz, and a girl named Johnny. Right now, the gang is riding in a truck that they supposedly stole. Maya is driving the truck, and Charlie, who's been in love with her forever, is sitting right next to her. As for the back of the truck, Wiz and Johnny are riding in there. Meanwhile, the police are chasing them down. Just so you know, the officers on their tail are 4 guys: Vince, Jake, Hayes, and Cortez. The 4 officers keep chasing the truck carrying Maya and the crew. Maya and her gang are swerving left and right to shake the cops. Because of that, the police start opening fire on them, but that doesn't stop them either. Maya keeps driving like a total maniac until she hits the highway. Just then, Cortez and Jade manage to catch up to them in their car, and they keep speeding right behind them. Meanwhile, Wiz and Johnny, who were in the back of the truck, decide they want to get rid of Cortez and Jade, so they grab a washing machine that was sitting in the truck and toss it right onto Cortez and Jake's car. Naturally, Cortez and Jake spin off the road while Maya and her crew keep going and escape the scene. After that, Vince and Hayes pull up to Cortez and Jake and find out that Jake is totally fine, but Cortez is barely holding on, so they call an ambulance to come save him. Later on, we'll find out exactly what happened to Cortez. Anyway, we stick with Maya, Charlie, Wiz, and Johnny, who head over to a Chinese gas hideout right about now. It belongs to a guy named Chorf Wayne. While they talk it out, we learn from their conversation that this Choi guy is super dangerous, and that he actually owes Maya a debt. That's why Maya, Charlie, Wiz, and Johnny stole that truck full of washing machines. Turns out it was actually loaded with drugs, and supposedly that they're gonna hand these drugs over to Choi to clear the debt he has over Maya and settle the beef between them. By the way, right about now, Maya and the crew spot Choi's assistant, a guy named Chen who's also Chinese, standing in front of the gang's hideout. So Maya and Charlie decide to approach him, leaving Johnny and Wiz behind in the car. They grab the bag full of drugs and head over to Chen, who takes them inside to meet Choi. Once inside, they sit down with Choi and try to squash the beef. We'll leave them there for a sec and check back on Chen, who goes back outside to stand in front of the hideout. So far, everything seemed fine, but things go south when a car pulls up right in front of the building. Inside the car are 3 guys wearing masks that look like hockey masks, and they're packing heavy weapons. One of them sends a text to Chen, telling him to get out of there immediately. Turns out, these 3 are actually here to take out Choi, and Chen is in on it. That's why they told him to leave, and sure enough, Chen walks away. Meanwhile, Johnny and Wiz see what's going down, and we realize Wiz is a total scumbag, cause he tells Johnny they should bail, but she refuses to listen. Instead, Johnny texts Maya to warn her, telling her she needs to run. The second Maya gets that text,
gunfire erupts. One of
Choi's man was standing right in front of her, and suddenly, he gets riddled with bullets and dies on the spot. Maya is terrified. Obviously, we don't know if she and Charlie managed to make it out or not. But we'll find out soon enough. On the other hand, we made this cop named Patrick. Right now, Patrick is in a store, buying a gift for his daughter, Amy. While he's there, he catches the news about a businessman named Lawrence. The report says the city's district attorney managed to get him acquitted of all the corruption charges Lawrence was facing. And by the way, Lawrence himself speaks up saying that he intends to run for mayor of the city. Now, keep an eye on this Lawrence guy, buddy. Remember him well, because he's important later. Anyway, after Patrick gets the gift for his daughter Amy, he walks out of the shop and calls his wife. They start talking, and we figure out from their conversation that Patrick and his wife are basically separated. That's cause Patrick is into some shady business. I mean, he's a dirty cop, plain and simple, making money from all sorts of illegal activities. That's why his wife pulled away from him, and they're probably gonna divorce pretty soon. Patrick keeps trying to convince her to let him give that gift to his daughter Amy, but she refuses and hangs up on him. Next, we see a cop named Ellie, who happens to be Patrick's partner. Right now, Ellie is in an apartment building, arresting a guy for beating his wife. Just then, Patrick shows up, and when he sees what she did, he chews her out. Because technically, Patrick and Ellie work in homicide, so petty crimes like this, like some guy hitting his wife, aren't their problem. Patrick takes Ellie and they head out to their car to go on patrol, but in the meantime, they get a call about what went down at Troy's place and his gang, so they change course and head straight to the hideout. Once they get there, they go inside and find out that everyone inside is dead. Troy and all his men were slaughtered, but Maya and Charlie made it out alive. Ellie pulls up the security camera footage from the time of the incident, or rather, the crime that took place. Appearing on the tapes are Maya and Charlie trying to escape. Maya's holding a small pistol. Ellie tells Patrick that Maya is part of Troy's crew, so she probably came to close a drug deal with Troy, but instead, she and Charlie tried to take him out. Patrick, though, has a completely different take. He doesn't think Maya is the one who did this because she's clearly holding a small handgun. Well, everyone here was killed with heavy weaponry, so Maya and Charlie weren't innocent. It's also clear that Patrick knows Charlie pretty well, but he doesn't say anything to Ellie right now. He just tells her to focus on her job. Then Patrick stands in the middle of the room, closes his eyes, and right then, he starts visualizing the crime that took place, almost like he's running a full simulation in his head. But his train of thought gets interrupted by a fellow detective. Someone comes up to him and tells him that Hayes, Jake, Vince, and Cortez were in a high-speed chase. Cortez got shot, and he's been admitted to the hospital. He's in critical condition right now, and in a coma. Patrick is devastated because Cortez is his partner, and like I said, his friend too. Anyway, Patrick is about to leave the scene, but before he takes off, one of the officers there lets him know that one of Troy's guards managed to escape. It's obvious, judging by the blood trail left on the floor. Once Patrick gets that info, he asks Ellie to stay on the job and try to track down the guy who escaped. Then he leaves her there. After that, Patrick goes to meet Lawrence, the guy we talked about earlier. We find out here that Patrick has been doing dirty, illegal work with Lawrence for a long time. We even learn that Patrick blackmailed the district attorney back then, which is why he dropped all the charges against Lawrence. Anyway, Patrick is talking to Lawrence now, telling him that he just came from Troy's hideout and he saw on the surveillance footage that his son Charlie was there. It's clear he was involved in Troy's murder, yeah. Buddy, Charlie is Lauren's son, but they haven't spoken much in a long time, ever since Charlie's mom passed away. Anyway, Lawrence asks Patrick to find his son by any means necessary and protect him from Troy's gang because they're definitely coming for revenge. If he can find him and get him out of the country, that would be great. At that moment, Patrick tells Lawrence he wants to go straight and doesn't want to do dirty work like this anymore, so he'll handle it and smuggle Charlie out of the country. But this will be their last job together, the last deal between Patrick and Lawrence for good. Lawrence agrees, and they settle on that. Then Patrick leaves. Meanwhile, on the other side, we see Clarence, Troy's mother, arriving with her gang. She sees her son Troy's body, and obviously she's devastated. After that, Clarence goes to Cheng and kills all the guards who were with him because they failed to protect her son. Troy. Then Clarence asks Chen who killed Troy. Chen tells her it was Charlie and Maya. Of course Chen did that, so Clarence wouldn't find out he was involved in any of it. Clarence gets furious and orders Chen to cooperate with her gang to track down Maya and Charlie and finish them off, or else she'll finish him. So he agrees. Chen and they agree on the plan. Meanwhile, we see that Patrick decided to get to work so he can head to Charlie. The first thing he does is go see this Chinese doctor. Just so you know, this doctor works illegally with gangs. Right now, he was treating the guard we mentioned who escaped from Troy's hideout during the attack with the gunshot wound. Anyway, Patrick bursts in, holds the guard at gunpoint, and asks him who killed Troy and his crew. So he says. The guard tells him that the ones who did it were 3 guys wearing hockey masks. He also learns that Charlie and Maya didn't do anything. With that, Patrick got what he needed, so he packs up and leaves. Then Patrick goes to the hospital where Cortez is. There Patrick meets Vince, Jake and Hayes. The 3 of them are pissed because all 3 of them, along with Cortez, work dirty jobs for Lawrence. Yet Charlie, Laura's son, is the reason Cortez ended up in a coma like this. Right now Vince, Jake and Hayes are saying they want to kill Charlie no matter what, but Patrick lets them know that ain't gonna happen. Patrick leaves the place and walks away. Then Patrick goes to visit his friend Cortez. He meets Angie, Cortez's wife, who is crying while talking to Patrick. She asks him, what exactly are Cortez, Vince, Hayes and Jake doing? She's asking because, by the way, while she was sitting next to him, Cortez was delirious, saying they were doing illegal work and killed someone. Before Patrick tells Angie that this talk isn't true and he's just babbling because of the meds, but Patrick starts having flashbacks. We see that one time Patrick, Vince, Jake, Hayes and Cortez were at a warehouse stealing drugs and weapons for Lawrence, but they were surprised by an undercover officer hiding there. Patrick quickly shot him. The officer was wounded, but when Patrick realized he was a cop like them, he wanted to take him to the hospital, but Vince refused and killed the officer right there. Then they got rid of the body. So yeah, Cortez wasn't delirious or anything. All of that actually happened. Anyway, back to the present. Patrick goes to his job at the station. That's when his boss comes up to him and lets him know she found out that Charlie was involved in Troy's murder and that Patrick covered for him because Charlie is the son of Lawrence, the guy he works with. The chief keeps throwing Patrick out and orders him to drop the keys completely, so Patrick agrees, leaves the place, and walks away. On the other hand, we see that Lawrence was in a car with 2 of his guards and his assistant. They were supposed to be heading somewhere, but they're not gonna make it anywhere. Because Clara's gang suddenly ambushes them, led by Clara's loyal assistant, without warning. Clara's assistant and her crew start killing everyone with Lawrence. After that, they kidnap Lawrence himself. We'll see later what they do with him, anyway. After that, we see that Maya, Charlie, Wiz, and Johnny are currently at a workshop belonging to a guy named Raul. And by the way, he's Maya's uncle. We learned that Raul can forge a lot of papers and stuff like that, so he agrees with Maya right now to forge passports for her and the crew, so they can use them to flee the country. He tells her he'll meet her at a specific time to give her those passports. Maya agrees, grabs Charlie and the others, and they leave. But the second they're gone, Patrick arrives at Raul's place. He pins him down and gets everything out of him regarding Maya and the papers he's making for her and the gang. He takes the papers from Raul, and he also takes Raul's phone so he can contact Maya and meet her himself. That way, he can get to Charlie. Patrick actually texts Maya, pretending to be Raul, and arranges to meet her at a nightclub to give her the passports. At the same time, buddy, we see Pat Wiz, that total scumbag, heads over to Clarence and Chun. He tells them he'll hand over Maya and Charlie, and that he knows where they are. We find out here that Wiz decided to sell them out to Clarence so no one would do anything to him or hurt him. Anyway, not long after all this, Patrick goes to the nightclub where he agreed to meet Maya. Then sure enough, Patrick meets Maya. The moment she sees him and realizes he's a cop, she decides to run, but Patrick grabs her and lets her know that he's a cop, but he's working for Lawrence and is here right now to protect her and Charlie. He asks her where Charlie is, but she refuses to tell him a single thing. Just then, Vince arrives with Hayes and Jake. We learn they came here because they were tailing Patrick and want to get to Maya. Just so you know, they want to get to Maya so they can take revenge on her, Charlie, Johnny, and Wiz. This is because of what happened at the start of the movie, if you remember, when Jake, Hayes, Vince, and Cortens were chasing Maya and her crew, if you recall. Anyway, the second Maya sees them, just shocked, she tells Patrick that these are the guys who attacked Joe and his crew, wiped them out, and stole the drugs they had. Yeah, buddy, Jake, Vince, and Hayes are the masked men who hit Joe and stole the drugs from him. Anyway, in the meantime, Vince, Jake, and Hayes come up to Patrick and ask him to hand over Maya, but he refuses. So things are about to get ugly, and they're gonna throw hands. But before it happens, a disaster strikes out of nowhere. It's a total shock, cause Wiz arrives with Clarence's men, led by Clara's assistant, and just like that, buddy, a massive battle kicks off right here. See, Clara's gang, along with Hayes, Jake, and Vince, all want to kill Maya. At the same time, they want to kill each other. As for Patrick, he was defending Maya. Patrick keeps shooting at anyone in front of him, whether it's his fellow officers or Clara's gang. He tries to take Maya and run. Maya also keeps shooting at everyone without any mercy. In the middle of all this, Officer Hayes gets killed. By the way, not long after that, Charlie, Raul, and Johnny arrive at the scene. They start firing at everyone to help Patrick and Maya escape, but unfortunately, in this fierce and crazy battle, Johnny dies. Raul gets shot and dies too. Maya is losing it over her uncle Raul and doesn't want to leave him, but Charlie and Patrick grab her and run. Then they get to the car, jump in, and flee the scene immediately. But before they escaped, Charlie actually saw his friend Liz with Clara's scan. Obviously, he was shocked, but he didn't do anything and fled with The others, as for Wiz, Clara's assistant goes up to him and kills him, says his role is over, and basically, she doesn't need him anymore. After that, Vince and Jake come out and pretend like they're part of the officers who are just arriving to check out the mess that happened here. Ellie also arrives, with the officers reaching the scene. At that time, Patrick was escaping. He calls Ellie to tell her everything he's figured out right now. He tells her that Hayes, Jake, Vince, and Cortez were chasing Maya, Charlie, Wes, and Johnny to steal the drugs from them. But of course, Maya and her crew managed to escape. Back then, they took the drugs to Troy. That's when Chen made a deal with Hayes, Vince, and Jake to go steal the drugs and wipe out Troy and his gang, just like what happened. That's why Hayes, Vince, and Jake are trying to kill Maya now, but they failed and Hayes died. Vince and Jake are still at it, trying to kill Maya and Charlie. Patrick lets Ellie know that he's sure Cortez wasn't involved with them, so she needs to go to the hospital to protect him. Ellie actually goes, and they agree on that plan. Later on, at the hospital where Cortez is, we see right now that Chen arrives. Chen calls Vince, and they argue because Chen still hasn't sold the drugs they stole. Chen tells him that he'll bring a buyer very soon and hangs up. After that, Chen goes to Cortez's room, kills an officer who was there, and goes in to kill Cortez. But at the perfect moment, Ellie arrives and starts fighting him. It's a brutal fight. In the middle of all this, Pat's combat Chen also kills Angie, Cortez's wife, but afterwards Ellie fights him and manages to arrest him. After that went down, Ellie makes Chen call Vez and Jade to get them to come to a specific spot, pretending they're gonna sell the drugs there, but the truth is she's waiting. She ambushes Vez and Jake and manages to arrest them. We'll see what she does with them later. Meanwhile, Patrick went with Maya and Charlie to a cabin to hide out. At that moment, Patrick called Lawrence, who was actually sitting with Clarence because she kidnapped him. Laura's phone was with Clarence, though right now Patrick is talking and telling Lawrence his location so he can come get his son Charlie. Unfortunately, Clarence finds out the location, so she takes her gang and heads over there to kill Patrick, Maya, and Charlie. The second Clarence and her gang arrive at the cabin, Clarence's men immediately start opening fire on Patrick, Maya, and Charlie. Of course, Patrick, Maya, and Charlie return fire as well. The place turns into a total battlefield. The shooting keeps going back and forth. Patrick, Maya, and Charlie manage to take out a lot of Clarence's men, but they're outnumbered. Eventually, Clarence's men manage to overpower Maya and Charlie and capture them. As for Patrick, he gets into a huge fight with Clarence's tough assistant. In the end, though, he manages to finish her off. After that, Clarence drags Maya and Charlie in front of Lawrence. She orders Lawrence to kill Maya in front of his son Charlie, just to torment him. Lawrence honestly doesn't want to do that. Luckily, something happens right then to stop him. Belly arrives at the scene, holding Vince, Jake, and Chen at gunpoint. She tells Clarence that they're the ones responsible for killing her son Joy. Not. Clarence is obviously shocked when she finds out that Chen is a traitor. Chen lets her know right now that he betrayed Joy because he couldn't handle him being the boss of the gang. Naturally, Clarence loses her mind over all of this. In the middle of all the chaos, Jake and Vince manage to get away from Ellie. Jake grabs a weapon and is about to kill Charlie, but Lawrence steps in front of Charlie and takes the bullet for him. Lawrence dies in a tragic scene. In that moment, chaos erupts all over the place, and Chen manages to grab The gun shoots Clarence and kills her. Then everyone starts shooting at each other. By the way, Chen tries to kill Vince so he can take the drugs for himself, but Vince manages to kill Chen, grabs the drugs and flees the scene. Meanwhile, Ellie and Jade keep exchanging fire. Jake is about to kill Ellie, but luckily, Charlie grabs a gun and kills Jake. Obviously, amidst all this chaos, they keep firing at Clarence men and kill them all. As for Patrick, he keeps chasing Vince until he catches up to him. He shoots Vince and kills him. We're finally rid of his crap. That's how the night ends. Then Ellie refuses to arrest Charlie and Maya and lets them escape. As for Patrick, Ellie goes over to him and asks him what he's gonna do. Patrick tells her he's sick of the illegal stuff. That's why he wants to pay the price for everything he's done. So she needs to arrest him and turn him into the police. And he'll confess to everything. Ellie actually agrees and decides to arrest Patrick. Patrick knows he's gonna be locked up for a long time, but he isn't scared or upset. He feels like this is the right thing to do. And with that point, this crazy movie comes to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. Until we meet in a new recap, all I can say is
Peace.